Welcome to Ancient Astrology with Sam and Verity.
Hi, I'm Sam Bakewell.
And I'm Verity Hebbs. And today for episode 12, we'll be looking into derived house systems.
That's correct. Yeah. So last week we worked on houses and the topics and the people that are represented in the natal chart. Now, today we are going to be looking at derived houses when one house becomes the first house, or, each house becomes the first house. So if we look at father, I will just put up this sheet. Okay, so here we have the father as the fourth house in the natal chart, but the second house from the father becomes the father's money.
Because the second house is usually money when it's here.
Yeah, that's right. And so that's the native's fifth house. So the third house from the father becomes the father's sibling and the father's short journey, his short courses, his neighbours. The seventh natal house becomes the fourth house from the father. So that's the father's father and the father's home. The fifth house for the father is the natal eighth house, and that's the father's children and his fun, his entertainment, his holiday. And the ninth house, the natal ninth house, becomes the sixth house for the father. And so that's his pets, his minor health, his work colleagues, his hard work. And the opposite end of the fourth house, the 10th house, is the father's partner, his bosses, his leaders. Sorry, not his bosses, his leaders, his enemies.
Yes.
The 10th, natal 10th.
Yes, that's his seventh, which is, funny because that's your 10th, which is your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's his partner. Yeah. Yeah.
So the 11th house is the father's eighth house, which is a father's death and his debt and his inheritance. And the ninth house is the education, his long distance journey, his religion, his travel. And the 10th house for the father, which is now his career and his bosses, his leaders, his own business if he has one. So that's, and his mother, of course, the father's mother, and his friends is the 11th house. And we could even take it a little bit further and go the father's business. Let's say he had his own business, or that would be his business second house. So the money from his business.
Wow.
We could also go as far as to say his father's mother. The father's mother and her money is the 11th house, which would be the second natal house. So the 11th house for the father is his friends, and the 12th house, anyone's house behind them, is the 12th house, and so that's the father's secrets and his serious health problems, any hospitals, medical centres.
It's fascinating just how much you can get out of one chart.
Yeah, and I've heard astrologers say that they don't really use it to that depth, but because I predict for monthly readings, I use it because otherwise something's not happening to the native all the time. Sometimes it's about other people.
So true.
So we were talking before we started recording about the sixth house and how you've got Mercury ruling that. She's in the sixth house by perfection at the moment. So we're talking about, car issues and somebody else has car problems as well.
And they're my colleagues from work, so it's interesting because if it was in a different house it might be different people that it's happening to. But it's quite interesting. A lot of mercurial things are happening, not just to me but my work colleagues while I'm in my 6th month.
That's right. And so that's how you start your prediction. Let's just go to another chart so we can just got the transits actually.
And I guess it's helpful as well, isn't it? Like if someone wants to know about their sick mother or something, you can find it without having to know that information about their mum.
Exactly. Well, I do a lot of readings talking about other people in the native's life, and I haven't got their chart there. This is how we all are connected, how we group together and how we're born in the same families, there's got to be similarities within and symmetry between families and friends. So let's have a look at we'll do the mother the mother's 10th, it's the 10th house. So the neighbour's mother, this is just the transit. We just need a wheel basically.
Yeah.
And so the second house for the mother is the 11th. So that's the mother's finance and her support. The 12th house for the native is the mother's sibling and her neighbours, her short journeys, short courses. And then we go to the 4th from the mother. So it's the mother's home, the mother's father. The 5th for the mother is the second natal house. So that is the fun and joy and entertainment and group activities and the mother's child or children. And the 6th house for the mother is the 3rd house, which is her pets, her work colleagues, her minor health, and the 7th from the mother is the father or her partner. So yeah, if you had the mother and father split up, well then the mother is the same planet is going to rule the next partner. It can still say something differently. It will still be in that scope. So if it was Leo, it would still be in that scope of the sun in Aquarius kind of relationship or partner, somebody who has got that kind of Leo traits.
So it's sort of like
Aquarius.
So you would still look at the sign, any planets that rule that sign, and the planets within that house as well,
and any planets in that house, exactly. And so the mother's 8th house is the 5th house, and then the mother's 9th house is your 6th house, and the mother's 10th house is the 7th house. The mother's 11th house, so her friends, are your natal 8th house, and the mother's health is your 9th house. Okay. So we can go around. You can even do that with your pets if you want to.
I like your pets, Mum.
Yeah, well,
but you could do like your pet's health.
I never had to do that for anyone. I haven't had a breeder.
No, yes, true. But you could do like your pet's health, or I guess you could see if there's a relationship with that and your money house.
Yeah,
see how that
I always type up that pet health. And when I'm doing readings for people, sometimes somebody will throw a chart in front of me and I start reading, and if the Lord of that month or the Lord of that year is doing something, so let's say this is not the configuration, and it was Libra, and Venus was here in the 5th house, and they were in this 6th house for that month. Well, then I'm looking at the pet's health, because Venus is behind, 12 signs behind, so something's going on with the pet. So then I want to have a look at their 7, 8, 9, if their 9th configuration where the pet is going to a specialist as you don't go to the vet, or, so you can definitely do that, right? So I'll share my chart.
It can be a really interesting one, and just to look at how in-depth charts can be. How much information
you can go. And if people aren't using this, they're really missing out on quite a bit, of their of their life. And so last year I was in a Mars year, so I'm looking at all the houses that Mars rules, right? So that's the 11th house, that's the 2nd house, that's the 6th house, and of course the 9th house. But what 9th house is this? Who does this belong to, right? It belongs to study and education, so that's not really a person, but it also belongs to the 12th house for my mother. So I'm looking at my mother's health and what's my mother doing, and looking at my mother's money, right? So she's doing something with her finance, because Mars is about spending, so she's spending it on something. So what she's spending it on? Spending it on health, right? So there's one thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's spending it on a holiday or with social groups.
Not her child.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, it's 6.
Oh,
6 hours.
6.
Oh no, it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, it is the 5th house. That's right.
But more on the holiday and entertainment.
Actually, it could be one of her children. Exactly. It wasn't, but And we've got the 7th, 8th, 9th, so the 9th. So that's normally a specialist, or it can be an overseas trip. So she didn't do an overseas trip, but you still got to remember that that was cadent. It's cadent for the mother and it's cadent for me. So that means that it can't deliver everything it wants to deliver. So there is a 25% chance of what that planet's going to deliver.
Right. And that would be like that for everybody's mother then, wouldn't it?
Well, if it was a cadent, the Lord was cadent,
Oh,
right,
the
for
Lord in
that
cadent,
year,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is 7,
Oh,
8,
yes,
9.
because
If
Mars
you're
is
9,
there. Yes.
it's cadent for me because it's the 6th house.
Yeah.
But somebody else is not going to be
Yeah, like
cadent.
if their Mars was in their first house or their 10th house, it would play out more like 100%.
Yeah, and so exactly, if it was in the 10th house, or it was angular, you know, for the mother, and if it was angular, it would be for me also. Because my mother's angular, you know, in an angular position. So it's my husband's health. Right?
Yes,
so I would bring that in. You know, Mars is about operations and needles and things like that. Can be minor kind of surgery, minor kind of things happening, but it was more work orientated for me. And that's what I'm saying. So everything that you think that's going to happen can't happen because it's a weak Mars. It's in a cadent house.
And sometimes I think if we're only looking at the 1 month and it being about us, we could miss all of this extra information.
Oh yeah, if you were just looking at yourself thinking, you know, that all this is going to happen.
Yeah, that could be pretty full on feeling. Yeah. Or you could just completely miss things like about your husband's health or about something that could be happening to his business or something.
Yeah.
So
if we looked at another area, so 7, 8, so this is the 8th house, so this is about his debt. It's also about his partner's money. Right? So that all was quite relevant because I did give up work that year. And so there was this loss of income. So I severed ties, you know,
and it's
Mars
your
about severing ties.
Yeah.
And so then there's pinpointing on my friends as well. So what's going on with my friends? Something's happening to them. And so we can start working that out with the 7th, the 8th, right? So this is the 8th, this is the friends, partners, finance. It's a friends, debts. So we've got 7, 8. And so these are all, and it's also the 8th house can also be health because it's the 8th house. But I normally would want to see another, like a 6th house or something like that happening as well. 6th or 12th, you know, for the friends. And then I would definitely be saying there'll be a health issue. But this is probably that they're overspending. And that is something that did happen in that year. Okay, so that's basically how we go about our natal charts with derived houses. You know, whatever house you're looking at the mother, then this mother becomes, this is the 1st house for the mother, the 2nd house for the mother, the 3rd house, and so on. If you're looking at see the children, like let's have a look at the children for the 5th house. So we're looking at the children's money. So that was important. And then we're looking at the 3rd house for the children's neighbours and short courses. We're looking at the 4th house, but we really, because it was a Mars year, I was really concentrating on that. And of course, there's other Time Lords, you know, we're just looking at one Time Lord, right?
Yes.
Because, you know, there's other Time Lords that we use, you know, we're just talking perfection because, you know, that's what these classes are leading up to predictive techniques. And when you can start predicting, then you can start, you know, being prepared for your life and seeing how exciting this skill can be.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's helped me as I've started to learn this is looking, like we were talking about before with the colleagues, it's looking for the patterns around you and then thinking, okay, so there's a lot of this activity going on. Why is that? Oh, I'm in a 6th house. There's that connection.
Yeah. Colleagues. It's ruled by Mercury. So there's some mercurial things going on. And it depends on what Mercury's doing in the natal chart, if it's in good condition, in a good house. So yours is in a good house, being the first house. So, but it has got that Mars influence there, and it's retrograde. So it kind of makes me start thinking that there will be some problematic situations.
And being cardinal as well, it's quite quick. Like things are changing, and that's quite mercurial as well. But things are sort of changing.
Yeah, so it's also, about computers and phones and things like that. So, you might be missing phone calls and missing talking to people, and they can't get hold of you, or you're doing something and you're messaging at the same time. It's got that real mercurial go kind of thing happening.
Yeah, that basically describes my day yesterday.
Well, that's how it works, and that's why no matter what happens to astrology over the years, 300 years go by and astrology's up there, and then all of a sudden it disappears, goes underground. So you can see, because there's so much relevance and so much honesty with it, it goes up and everybody gets hold, a lot of people get hold of it and they want to learn it, and then something happens and somebody normally makes it happen. So while we're in a good time frame at the moment for astrology, and a lot of people are learning. There's lots of stuff on the internet.
Yeah, there is. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. Yep.
Yeah, but it's getting the right stuff, isn't it?
Exactly.
Also.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's not a long lesson today on episode 12, but hopefully you understood derived houses. It's another stepping stone for you to get closer to doing your own predictions in your natal chart. And if you're an advanced astrologer, well then hopefully this has helped you get to another level. Please use it, because it is really important to use derived houses. It can help you, if you're caring for somebody, like a lot of people care for their mothers, their fathers, to know when your parents are going to be ill, or, if you have a fur baby and your fur baby is very important to you, when you need money, for the vets and things like that. So
and
it can be very helpful.
It could help you see if things are going to pass, because sometimes when things are stressful, it just feels like, oh, is this ever going to end? Is this ever going to resolve?
Absolutely.
And then maybe you can see in a month's time, it might all change, and that can help you get through. Okay, it's just a couple more weeks of this, and then the themes should change, or for that person, things should start looking up, or or it can help you prepare, like, okay, we're coming into a lot of Saturn things going on here, or Mars, so what do I need to prepare for this?
Exactly. I mean, we can't always be on top of it, but we do our best. Okay, so that's episode 12. Thank you for watching us. Please like and please subscribe.
Yes.
We'd love it if you did that. And we'll see you next time for episode 13.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.